Coming up on today's show, we're going to react to a report that came out from ESPN where they predicted that the New York Giants would sign a certain edge rusher in NFL free agency. Also, I just want to catch everybody up to speed on what is going on with the Giants and a couple of the interviews that they're having for the special teams coordinator position, running back coach, and defensive coordinator spot. 5 guys to talk about. We'll do that around the corner. But first, make sure you are subscribed to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We're going to put out free, informative, entertaining, and passion-driven content all off-season long. So if that's what you're looking for, subscribe to the channel and help us get to 42,000 subscribers. That is a massive milestone, and we are 17 away. So subscribe to the channel and help us out. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good Monday morning. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Let's dive into it. ESPN predicted that the Giants will sign Jet edge rusher Bryce Huff in NFL free agency. We'll break all that down, and I'll share my opinion on it. Let's start with this, though. The New York Giants, they need more edge rushers. They need more players that can get after the quarterback. When you talk about what this defense did well over the past couple of years with Wink Martindale, it was blitz, and they got after the quarterback, specifically in 2022. They were 13th in the National Football League with 41 sacks, but they kept the same pressure rate essentially this year, and the sacks, they fell off a cliff. They went from 13th to 29th. And with Wink gone, and with the guy that you're probably going to bring in that's not going to blitz as much as Wink, you're going to need guys that can just win one-on-one pass rush opportunities. I love Kayvon Thibodeau. He played pretty good this year for his second year in the National Football League, but he was too inconsistent. I know he had 12 sacks and he made a lot of splash plays, but he needs to be more consistent. And there's other guys on this roster that I just truly do not think are the high enough level players to get the Giants back to being an elite pass rush. Bryce Huff, on the other hand, I think it makes some sense for a lot of different reasons. And I like what ESPN Aaron Schatz had to say about it. Quote, the Giants will make a splash with a surprisingly big free agent contract for edge rusher Bryce Huff, currently of the Crosstown Jets. Huff has started only 7 games in his career, but is a bit of a secret star with a 23.5 career pass rush win rate. That is really good. That's at the top of the National Football League. And you look at what he did this year when he finally emerged and became that household name, he was really good. He had 10 tackles for loss, 10 sacks, 21 QB hits. I like to look at QB hits because that really, I think, illustrates the picture more so than sacks of how consistently you're getting in the backfield and creating plays and wreaking havoc. And he did that 21 times this year. But as you see, he didn't play all that much in the prior 3 years. 16 tackles his rookie year, 14 the next, 6 last year, up to 29 this year. But when he is asked to pin his ears back and get after the QB on passing downs, he is successful. 10 sacks, 21 QB hits. Look, let's get back to New York Giants football. Let's get back to the DNA of this organization. They need more pass rushers. You can never have enough pass rushers. Let's remember when the Giants were at the top of the NFL, winning 2 Super Bowls in 4 seasons, what was their calling card? What was their backbone? What was the strength of that team? It was the front 4 and the different combinations that they could have in that front 4. Multiple guys that can come off the edge. Just keep reloading, keep replenishing and keeping those guys fresh. Adding a guy like Bryce Huff would help you do that. And as much as I love Kayvon Thibodeau, you need someone on the opposite side. And I thought at one point that could be Azeez Ojulari. And I think when you boil it down to strictly as a pass rusher, Ojulari is a good football player. But sometimes the best ability is availability. And Azeez hasn't been that since he's come out of Georgia. And that's why he slipped in the NFL draft a couple of years ago, because he had a lot of injury concerns. And that's happened so far in the NFL. Go get Bryce Huff or go get one of these top 10 edge rushers that are going to be free agents. This is the top 10 edge rushers, according to Pro Football Focus, that will be free agents. Josh Allen, he's going to make a whole lot of money. Brian Burns and Danielle Hunter, those guys are all going to get a lot of cash. I wouldn't be surprised if Allen and Burns were both franchise tag. The Vikings, they can't franchise tag Danielle Hunter at this point, so he's going to get a payday. I'd be interested in him. Do the Giants want to pay him $100 million? That's the question. I don't think Bryce Huff will cost that much. PFF has him ranked as the 4th best edge rusher that's going to hit free agency. Then you got guys like Chase Young and Jonathan Greenyard and Jadeveon Clowney, Zadarius Smith, Josh Uche, and Leonard Floyd. There's a lot of players you can go out and get. I think Bryce Huff is a good value, and I think he's the type of player that you could tap into that hasn't reached his full potential that can maybe become a star for the New York Football Giants. Those are the top 10 guys that are set to enter free agency. You've got to look at those. We've talked about Bryce Huff. We've told you about the pass rush win rate. We've shown you his stats. Do you think the Giants should sign him? Should Joe Schoen give Bryce Huff a bag in free agency? Because it's not going to be a cheap signing. Type S for sign, type P for pass. Let me know what you think. Coming up next, we're going to break down all 5 coaches that have been interviewed or are set to interview for open positions on Brian Daboll's staff. Defensive coordinator, running backs coach, and special teams coordinators. We'll talk about all 5 guys that we know that are in the running. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the promo code CLNS, and PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. It is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. And I was playing PrizePicks all weekend long as I was watching the wild card round games, and I'm going to be doing so again with the games tonight on Monday Night Football. But it's not just the NFL. We got NBA. They've got college basketball. They've got so much more. It's a lot of fun, and you guys should check it out. And it's not, what I love about PrizePicks the most is it's just you versus the numbers. You create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply choose more or less on their projected stat lines. You're not playing against a bunch of sharks and sharps. You're not playing against a bunch of computers. It's you versus the numbers. Check them out. Support the show. Support the sponsor. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for that $100 deposit match. All that information will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. Alrighty, let's dive into it. The New York Giants are set to interview Shane Bowen for the defensive coordinator position. He has spent the last couple of years as the Tennessee Titans defensive coordinator. And with Mike Vrabel out of Tennessee as that head coach, they are going to be probably getting a new defensive coordinator. And I like Bowen. I like what the Tennessee Titans have been and what they've kind of stood for on the defensive side of the ball the last couple of years. He's been the defensive coordinator there since 2021, and they've had a better than top half of the defense when it comes to points per game in each of those seasons. A lot of talent on that side of the ball, but I also just like the way he plays. He's a physical, fast, and aggressive defensive coordinator, and that's what I want to see as the next DC on Brian Daboll's staff. Another interview for the defensive coordinator position is Dennard Wilson, and this was very good news to hear for me. Dennard Wilson is an up-and-coming coach in the National Football League, and he's been coaching different spots on defenses and different teams as well. In 2015 and 2016, he was the Rams defensive back coach. Also spent a little bit of time with the St. Louis Rams before they became the Los Angeles Rams. And then from 2017 to 2020, he was with the New York Jets as their DB coach. And then in 2019 and 2020, he was their Jets passing game coordinator. Then he went to Philadelphia. He was the Eagles DB coach in 2021, and then the Eagles passing game coordinator in 2022. Most recently, the Ravens DB coach in 2023. There's some rumors out there that if Jim Harbaugh does leave Michigan, he would be a guy that would be on the top of the list to be the next defensive coordinator for Michigan. I love what he did, though, with Philadelphia as the Eagles pass game coordinator in 2022. Talk about that team for Philly. They were great on the outside. They were great when it comes to stopping the pass. A large part why they became a team that competed in the Super Bowl. I'd be excited if Wilson was the next DC for this team. Let's talk about the running back coach availability. The Giants will interview Tony Dews, who was the running back coach for the Tennessee Titans. But he was also their tight end coach last year. So I like the flexibility and the versatility that he has, but he is known more so as a running back coach from 2018 to 2022. He held that position for Tennessee. So I like that. I also like that he was the tight end coach for them. Shows that he could do multiple things. Giants are going to have to fill that position, and it may not be Saquon Barkley, the guy that they're coaching going into the future. So that guy's going to have to learn to mold, teach, and help young players grow to hopefully be big-time running backs in this league. Another running back coach that they are interviewing is Joel Thomas, who is currently the New Orleans Saints running back coach, and he has been their running back coach since 2015. So the two running back coaches that we know that have been interviewed are Tony Dews, who was with Tennessee, and then you also have the running back coach Joel Thomas, who has been with New Orleans since 2015. The Giants have also started their search for a new special teams coordinator to replace Thomas McGahee. The Giants are interviewing Matt Harper, who has been the special teams coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers since 2021. He was the special teams coordinator assistant. He was the assistant special teams coordinator. That is important because the Giants have tried to interview multiple special teams coordinators across the league, but a lot of teams will block those interviews like the Giants have learned because it's more of a lateral move and it's not a step in the right direction or step in an upward direction when it comes to coaching moves. Going from special teams coordinator job, that's not considered an elevation. Those moves have been blocked. But the first one that we have learned about here at Giants Now is Matt Harper, who is the assistant special teams coordinator in San Francisco since 2021. If we learn any new information about the Giants coaching searches for DC, special teams coordinator, or running back coach, we're going to break it down on this channel. So subscribe for free Giants content every day.